It has been a couple of years since the release of the DJI FPV, and while this was the first attempt by DJI to make an FPV drone, after that they just made two other drones, which was the Avata 1 and the Avata 2. Meaning that there was no real attempt at making something as strong as the DJI FPV ever after. And with that, while it's not the newest and greatest, it is still the most powerful FPV from DJI. So if you already have one, or are looking to get one, maybe you found a deal of it, and you can actually find one, is it worth it in 2025, and is it even any good in 2025? This actually was my first FPV drone that I got. It was the one that got me into flying FPV drones. And at that moment, I really had no experience with FPVs other than maybe playing games where I would fly jets, airplanes, in a way like an FPV. But other than that, I wanted to get into FPV. I wanted to film like FPV shots for my travel adventures, but I didn't want to play with the real FPVs, where we really have to have much more knowledge for, how to set it up, how to make it work, how to maintain it, like the batteries, for example. And I wanted to have something that can fly like an FPV, but is more like a DJI in terms of its safety, its battery, and all of those features. Mostly, I fly it with an action camera on top of it. As you can see, I have this holder here where I have the camera on the top. But how good is it just as the device itself? So I'm gonna actually talk about this device as two-part. First one is gonna be just the device itself, and then I'm gonna move on to how it actually works as a camera operator in a way. Because for most part, whenever I talk about the DJI FPV, I would make a video where I was talking about it, but I would always mention how I use the action camera on the top, and this is how I got the footage from it. But if you're looking just for the DJI FPV and just wanted to use the camera on board, how good is it? So by 2025 standard, I feel like the camera on top of the DJI FPV is not great by any means. Well, the resolution is not bad, the frame rates are not bad too, and you can even shoot it in a flat picture profile. I feel like in 2025 it's just not that great, because there is one huge difference that this has that the other drones that came out later or other FPV drones don't have, which just make them better, which is a much bigger field of view, so the FOV. And that is one of the reasons why I would get an action camera on top. You see, with an FPV like this, what you see from the camera is what you see in the shot. This is what you're recording, and you can shoot in 4K 60 frames per second, which is really nice. You can also shoot in the cinema-like, which is a nice flat picture profile, which you can really easily color grade and just really take advantage of it in post-production. With its not too big of a field of view, you don't really feel that speed, and that speed is something that really makes the FPVs just feel much better. And I have to make this distinction here. If you're just someone that wants to fly around, have fun, this is more than enough. I mean, it can record in 4K 60 frames per second, you see it in 60 frames per second when shooting that frame rate, and overall it looks great. But if you want to have the best of the best, if you want to have the better quality for your recording, just something that looks more cinematic, the motion, then a camera on top is something I would highly advise it. So for the camera itself in 2025, even by its release standard, it wasn't that great. It was the first attempt, it was a real first FPV that you could get. It was pre-built with DJI safety functions, and most importantly, the FPV batteries that are smart batteries. And that's something that you have to really care about as much as a traditional battery. It just is much easier to maintain, much easier to use. And while the battery isn't incredible in terms of its capacity, especially if I put an action camera on top, then it's even worse. But for what it is, it was pretty good. And it really got me into FPV, so it was a great drone at the time. But like I said, I never really took the camera from here as something that I would actually use. I really used it like a traditional FPV, where this is just for the goggles, and then the camera on the top is the one that I'm filming with. This also meant that I could actually film at a different frame rate, different shutter speed, and even add an anti-filter on top of it, and not play around with the settings, just have the best settings for flight when flying with it. But if you already have one, or you're looking to get one, maybe you found a good deal on it. I don't actually know if it's even easy to find one in 2025. But if you can get one, if you just want something that is great for flying, getting used to the FPV systems, then it's actually a good drone. It's maybe not the fastest, it's not the strongest, it's not the nimblest, especially it's not the most, evasive, but it's a good drone to start with. It's really fun to fly with it, and the quality, like I said, is not bad per se. It's just not something I would take on a shoot, a paid shoot, or something that you want to have the best quality possible. So it's it's dependent on when you want to use it. Also, it's just much more powerful than other FPVs, especially from DJI, meaning that, for example, I was using the DJI Avata, and I was having problems on islands where there was a little bit more wind. And even to a point where once I didn't feel any wind at all, but somehow a little bit farther from me, maybe like 20 meters, the drone was like this, fighting for its life. Where I never had that problem with the DJI FPV. It's just much more powerful, much more massive. The weight is something to consider, and that makes it a little bit more like a flying rock. It can fly much faster. This is a really fast drone by DJI standard. And like I said, it's a great starting drone for those that want to experience FPV but are maybe not sure and maybe are not really into filmmaking or just want to get started and want to have a cheaper alternative. But for others, even if you have that, maybe it's better to keep it and just get an action camera on top if you wanted to improve your video quality. This is what I did, and it worked great. You can really take advantage of that setup and what you already have. So even in 2025, I feel like it's still worth it, and for many, I'm sure it's still a lot of fun to fly with this. And how quick it can go, how fast and strong this is, it is so fun, and it's just incredible to fly with it. But you have to be a little bit more careful because everything here is exposed, and with it being a little bit older at this point, it could be harder to get it fixed or get replacements for it. But other than that, in 2025, I still feel like it's a really cool drone. But I know the availability could be the biggest problem here. But if you have one, let me know if you like it, because I feel like maybe I'm not using it as much as I wish because of the DJI Avata with the Axis Flying mod that I have, which just feels like a best of both worlds. But I feel like it's still such a cool drone to have, and just something that, still works perfectly fine. And depending on your usage, you can still make it work because it's working great for standalone and for a camera on top of it. And before you ask, I use the DJI Goggles V2 and the FPV controller, which I got in the combo with the drone, which was actually great because this is the combo that I use with the DJI Avata at this point. So it was really good that I already had it with this drone. If you still have it in 2025, if you still fly it, let me know how you think about it, because it's a really curious case where DJI didn't want to release anything after it that really made like the FPV obsolete, because the Avata 1 and Avata 2 in my opinion are a different style of FPV drones. They're not as powerful, not as strong, and not as heavy as the DJI FPV. So I would really love to see DJI FPV 2 in the future. But if you have one, let me know in the comment section down below if you're still flying and how you feel about it in 2025. And let's hope for maybe something like a hybrid or an FPV2. That would be incredible. Also, if you're looking for music for your YouTube channel, or just like the music in my videos, check out the links down below for music. That being said, it is gonna be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.